Hey, Namaste, angels. Right now, I just want to look at energy of abundance, primarily material and financial, but some love may come up in here too. There are many different energies of abundance and many different types of abundance. We're starting with I'm using the Angels of Abundance Oracle, and we're starting with moonlighting from that deck. You can start working on your dream career part time while keeping your other job to pay the bills. Soon, your dream career will take flight rather and fully support you. So some of us may have like a side gig that we work on, and the universe is encouraging you to continue to work on that, and to work on it and work it to the best of your ability until you're able to solely focus on that. But in the meantime, keep your job. I was going to say I just opened to clearing debts as well, so I think that was important. And sure enough, it showed up on top to make sure that I mention it. If you're able to pay down your debt, that's also particularly important right now. And look, the moonlighting card showed up behind it. Your self-care involves removing the heavy burden of financial and emotional debts from your life. You already feel lighter and freer just by facing this topic and making a plan to clear present obligations and to avoid future ones as well. I've been talking a lot to people about this sort of thing. Release resentments about money, like our relationship with money, our feelings about money. Walking around with like the energy of lack and, fear of lack, and like maybe we grew up without, or in a past life we didn't have, and so we're still holding on to like struggle vibes, struggle energy, and that doesn't help with manifestation, because manifesting requires you to put the energy out there, let the universe know what it is you want, with some focused intention, but then like to let go of any attachment to the thing or to the outcome of what you put out there. It's like, okay, I release it now to the universe, I release it to God, and they're going to take care of it. And if you don't truly believe that, if you're walking around fearful that that's not true, that's actually a false thing, and you just really did this as an exercise, and you don't believe that God's going to take care of you, or you don't believe the universe is going to take care of you, you don't believe in the law of attraction, then it won't work. You know what I mean? That's really how it goes. Overall energy now, employment change. Your career path is leading you to a higher direction with positive changes to support your dreams, priorities, passions, and your life purpose. Trust that these changes will help you to release the old and to welcome the new. You're being supported each step of the way. And behind that, words of abundance. So this is kind of like what I was just talking about. Like if we don't believe it, sometimes we even speak negative things about ourselves, or about money, or our relationship therein, like with money and the material. And that doesn't help you to grow. That helps you to remain, stifled and stuck in lack. So speaking words of abundance is helpful, is part of the manifestation process. You have the ability to instantly manifest abundance by choosing powerfully positive words. Always describe your own and the world's economic situation in loving and optimistic terms. Optimistic means like you have faith, right? You believe that things can turn around or go well, or that you'll be supported. And if you do that, this is what you will attract for yourself and others. So just as I was just saying, here it is on a card. With the angels, angel therapy oracle cards, coincidentally, we're beginning with manifestation power. Use your spiritual gifts and natural abilities to attract your desired outcome. So attract your desired outcome. And then once you attract it, again, it's having faith that it's going to come all the way to you, and releasing the attachment to the outcome of it coming to you and how it comes to you. And letting the universe or God or whatever it is you believe, science, handle the rest. The laws of science. Look, law of attraction. Just opening right to the cards that are relevant here. They're not all about manifestation. This one is heart chakra, so it's not a coincidence, again, that the appropriate cards are coming out. Relationships and activities that you once enjoyed, including maybe your work, right? Some of us are out of work. Some of us have newly changed jobs or transferred or something. And some of these things are happening because of your life purpose, right? And where the path that the universe is putting you on. Relationships and activities that you once enjoyed are now changing as you become more sensitive and aware of energies. And back to law of attraction. Isn't that funny? Lastly, this is the after the tarot deck, because I figured if we wanted to clarify anything, it would be best to look at a card that can sort of show us what the outcome might be, since it's after the tarot. And here we're starting with the Six of Wands. So that's very positive, right? Being victorious in our endeavors as it relates to finances and work and things. Then we have the Seven of Cups. Some of us may have many options or many dreams and goals and things we're trying to really, achieve all at once. We have a Six of Cups here. There could be something from your childhood or something that relates to children, a business that would be suitable for you. Maybe something that you've always wanted to do, or you had always wanted to do, you dreamed of as a kid, and somewhere along the way you sort of lost track of it, didn't follow up, and maybe there's an opportunity to get back on that. Okay, here we have a bullseye, and I was just talking about Cupid earlier. I know this is an abundance reading, and I said I was going to focus on finances, but I was just talking about Cupid earlier because Venus, Cupid's mother, is currently located in Sagittarius, which is Sagittarius, the archer, is very Cupid to me. So I was saying it would be nice. Venus is also the planet of money and abundance, right? She's the planet and the goddess of love and money. So saying it would be nice if she would shoot her arrow or coax her son, rather, to shoot his arrow at a few people, maybe at a few things too, at a few ideas, at a few jobs, at a few paths, or, shooting at people so that you know which direction to take. This, the Eight of Wands, is often about, the wands in general, movement, communication, and then this is, I would say, targeted. So it's like with intention. So maybe this is about applying for a particular job or deciding to move forward with a contract, with a partnership, with an agreement, with a new business or something. And really focusing and honing in on that one thing, and maybe not doing so many things, or, trying to juggle a whole bunch of things, or, just having your head in the clouds without focus, as might be the case with the Seven of Cups. So we have the Three of Wands upright, and here it looks like this man has sent out his bird to send maybe these messages, to make this communication on his behalf. And the Three of Wands sometimes can mean that you've done all you can do. So maybe sending out your resume, or, making the attempt to communicate, to connect with other entities that are in a position to help you to grow material and or financial abundance. And like once you do that, once you put your effort in and you do that work, that may be the extent of all you can do. Then you sort of leave it up to them to decide whether or not they're going to call you or follow through or whatever. But that's you putting your energy out there. And then we have Major Arcana card 1, the Magician, who is the master manifester. He has all the tools necessary to achieve whatever it is he wants. So this is the energy we're embodying. Also in love, right? We can basically draw in the desired partner. It will require you, similar to with the Three of Wands, again, to give some of yourself. That he's having to share emotions, to pour emotions out. Maybe to open up and not be so closed. Sometimes the King of Cups can be stubborn, and he can be, while he's somebody who has balanced emotions, he can keep them to himself and maybe not communicate. So that may also be a message for somebody. And maybe it does have to do with love. And as I say, with love, here comes the lovers. So I tried to focus on money and the material. Maybe love is it's going to insist on coming through. Anyway, I apologize. And maybe it involves an earth sign. Knights are about taking action. We have the Knight of Pentacles here. Or maybe an actual person. Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. Fool. All about taking a chance. And look, since this is after the tarot, this Fool, you see, he's already sort of gone out on a limb and realized that it wasn't so scary anyway. Like it wasn't what he thought. He thought he was like on a ledge here on a cliff, but he can actually, reach the ledge without even stepping on his tippy toes. So he didn't have far to fall. If he had fallen, he would have still been okay. And so that's the message to you too. Taking a risk and realizing again that you're supported and you're going to be okay. But it does require you to have faith. So I think that's going to be the overall theme. That's what's coming out so far. Overall theme of this reading is that your faith is a huge part of the manifestation process. Your genuine belief that you're going to be taken care of. The universe will take care of you. It will, provide. God will provide, that sort of thing. And here we have a woman. So even if you had a partner, whether it's a romantic partner or some other person that was helping to support you and they walk away, you're still going to be okay. Sometimes we get worried, like when we're divorcing, and it doesn't have to be because you're a woman, male or female. Maybe sometimes even more so male, because they tend to be, at least in America, things are where it's patriarchy. Things are things as they are. The men tend to make more money, right? And the male tends to be the more traditional provider. It's getting better now, but I remember when I was a young person working in the corporate world, you really, God forbid you were a lesbian. Because you were stuck, because it's like the presumption was your man will take care of you, your husband will take care of you. So if you're a woman who has to take care of yourself and you're never going to have a man, you're in big trouble. Again, like I said, things are getting better now, but men being known to be the providers, when they divorce, sometimes they still have to provide. You have to give up the house or half the house, or half your money, or whatever it is, a lot of the time. Or continue to pay, to take care of the kids, even though you're, you're not the custodial parent. You pay the larger portion, like all that kind of stuff. And sometimes there can be worries about like, well, how am I going to make it after that? And then, of course, there's the other side too. If you're the person who's always been taken care of, whether it's because it's your spouse, it's your husband that always took care of you, or it's your parents, or it's your kids, whatever the situation, and the person is going away and you're losing that, right? They're walking away for whatever reason, or you're being separated for whatever reason, and you're sort of on your own. Sometimes a fear can arrive from that, like, how am I going to take care of myself? What am I going to do? I was sort of the opposite when I got divorced. I was just so unhappy by that point. And, had been for a while in terms of my relationship, not as a person, thank God. I never got sunk into a whole depression, because that can happen too. But in terms of in my marriage, within my relationship, I was so miserable by then that I just wanted out of the marriage so bad. I just did not want to be married anymore. It's like, if I'm going to do bad, I can do bad all by myself, as they always say. I don't need another person to do that. And in terms of, growing together and him helping me, it's not what help I maybe could get, would get, have gotten from him. It's not worth what I feel like. Like I'm going to figure out how to do this by myself. or how to continue to do this for myself, or whatever the case. And so I had that belief automatically. Like, I'm going to be all right. I just have to get out of this. I just know that much. I got to get out of this. And for some of you, maybe that's why love is trying to show up, because for some of you, that could be a part of it. Like, you might be hesitant to enter a new relationship because of something from your past. Or you might be hesitant to end a relationship in which you're unhappy because of, well, how am I going to take care of myself? Or what money am I going to be left with if I'm made to take care of this other person, former mate? So those are things. But the reason for this reading and this rant is, to give you some guidance as to how you can be okay despite whatever else is going on, provided you truly believe in yourself and in, like this law of attraction, or the laws of the universe, right? Universal laws. Or in God, prayer, manifestation, I don't care how you word it. It's all the same to me, really. So I actually think I want to look at masculine and feminine, although we all have both. Souls are androgynous. So if you want to, look at the whole reading in context of yourself, that is fine. If you want to look at it in terms of you're a woman and you identify as a feminine, or you're a man and you identify as a feminine, or vice versa, that's fine too. You only want to look at one side. So this first card will be to crown the masculine, and it is obstacles and blocks are lifted. Right, all your good personal work and your positive energy shift have overcome previous obstacles, and blocks are lifted away. You will now experience progress and forward movement with your projects. Stay centered in gratitude, remaining thankful and positive about the whole thing, in order to ensure that your flow of abundance continues. Like, don't get ahead of yourself. Don't slip into ego and like, I knew it was going. I got it like that. There's definitely importance in remaining thankful. Like that saying, the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. You can get it and it can really be gone in a second. And so, yes, attitude of gratitude. Crowning the feminine. Detox your friendships, ladies. Your abundance flow is being affected by the people with whom you're spending time. So be discerning about your associations and your relationships. Choose to be with people who are inspiring, generous, and supportive. Now, another thing about when I would do these readings like masculine and feminine, sometimes too, for a masculine, for example, this card, the cards over here, would tie in or relate to a feminine energy in his life, or vice versa. So that's another way to look at it as well. Surrounding the masculine, we have visualize abundance in all forms. I started out the reading talking about abundance comes in many forms, right? God gave you such great spiritual power that everything you visualize eventually becomes reality. Hold a steady vision of that which is beautiful, healthful, positive, and filled with blessings, and that is what you will experience. Surrounding the feminine. Face your financial fears. I guess it's kind of like what I was telling you about, like whatever was coming at me, or whatever was going to lie ahead, I was ready to deal with it and handle it as long as I was out of that marriage, right? When you're honest with yourself about fears of success or failure, they can no longer control you. It's so very true. Be free of hidden fears by exposing them to the light of awareness, and you'll realize that you, in fact, have nothing to fear, and that every successful person has struggled with and released these same self-doubts. At the root, or in the masculine subconscious, the root issue, we have do the work. Did I just say you just got to do your part and the universe will meet you halfway? It's not enough to dream or pray. This is exactly what I was saying. You've also got to take the positive action steps that are being divinely guided to take. Consistently working on your priorities will make them all flourish like a lush flower garden. And for the feminine, Organize for success. Do not let the word organize intimidate you, as it's simply a way for you to ensure clarity of purpose. Organizing your thoughts, your reports, your living and workspace, and your finances will help you to know and to plan your next action steps. Crowning, so, for both archetypes, for both halves view, whatever. Pay yourself first. Make yourself your most important financial obligation by setting aside a portion of your income every time you're paid. This loving form of self-care ensures that you'll have savings to invest in your present and your future. I took my daughter to the bank, my adult grown daughter, who could have gone to the bank by herself. I'm saying this in a particular way on purpose. I took her to the bank. I made an appointment with a banker because I knew that she wouldn't have done this on her own, right? Maybe she wouldn't have even known to as a young person, a millennial, a younger end millennial. And we sat down with the banker and she talked about her income. And we came up with a plan and an account that was appropriate, and that whenever her check, her income, goes over a particular amount, the bank is automatically going to be in receipt of the direct deposit and take the excess and put it in her savings account. So she came up with the amount. I want to have at least this amount in my checking account every time, from my check to spend to pay my bills, and anything else is gravy, basically. So that's going to go directly to the savings. And you can do this. You can determine a specific amount that you want put in the bank that you never even have to look at it. You never have to, if you don't see it, you won't spend it. Is kind of the idea. Yeah. And so I recommend stuff like that. Okay. The root. How did we get here? Maybe by not focusing on our priorities. So now we're being guided to focus on your priorities. Where you put, and this is interesting that this came out like that, because here it's saying make yourself your number one priority. And then here at the root, it's saying focus on your priorities. So this is like kind of one and the same. It's saying focus on you and what's best for you. And then, everything else will fall into place. Where you put your focus is where you receive your outcome. Your priorities are calling to you, which may produce a feeling of anxiety unless you give them time and attention that they and you need and deserve. Even a small amount of time devoted to your priorities will help you to feel better and more confident, especially if that priority is you, or if you're the number one priority. Giving yourself at least a small amount of time is going to make your life all that much better and abundant, and help to clear and shield your energy so that you can be more abundant in general, overall. At the heart of the matter, what is it's the power of prayer. So this is basically manifestation. I said, by any name, I don't care what you call it, it's all the same to me. Give this situation to God for uplifting and healing, and be more open to miracles. This is about having faith and believing that it can come to pass. Heaven's unlimited resources, love, and answers are awaiting your prayers. Be sure to act upon the divine guidance that God gives you in response to your prayers. So if you pray and then you've shown a sign, right? What should I do in the situation, God? And this applies to money. This applies to love. This applies to everything. What should I do in this situation, God? Dear angels, please help me, or ancestors, or whatever you do. What should I do? And they show you a sign. You should be with that person. You should leave this one. You should get that job. You should, get out of that one. And if you're still going to fight with them and be like, oh, but, if I leave, what's so-and-so going to think? Or if I get that job, it may take me longer to earn this amount of money, so maybe I shouldn't. Then why'd you ask? Or why did you ask God for help if you're not going to take the guidance that you're shown? And you're not going to do your part. You're not going to do the work. So it means that's a demonstration that you don't really have faith. So again, faith is a real important part of this. So let's just see if we can get more information or like further clarify these. So joining obstacles and blocks are lifted for the masculine. We have God box. So we're still talking about God and being thankful here. Write any worries, concerns, or desires on a piece of paper that you put into a special container called a God box as a way of letting go and allowing the divine to help you. Crowning the feminine. Have you asked your angels for help with this? I probably don't have to say anything. I should just like stop talking and just let the cards do it because they're saying everything that I said. Your angels want to help you with this situation. This is joining detox your friendship. So you might not know, like, how do I release this person? I care about them so much. Or how do I stop talking to a member of my family or BFF or whatever? That's the kind of thing you should be asking your angels for help with. Right, your angels want to help you with this situation. However, they require your permission before they can intervene in your free will choices. So like I said, that is joining this card, detox your friendships. Surrounding the masculine, joining visualize abundance in all forms. From the angel therapy cards we have. Release. Work with Archangel Michael to let go of what no longer serves you or your purpose. And then instead, after you release the stuff that you don't need or want, visualize the stuff that you do. And visualize it coming to you. Visualize yourself having it and enjoying it. And visualize the feeling. You know, what does that feeling look like in your mind's eye? Joining surrounding the feminine, joining face your financial fears. We have heal away addictions. It's time to let go of behaviors like fear that are blocking you from your heart's desires. Ask Archangel Raphael to help you with this healing. So if you don't mind working with angels, if you're not opposed to that, feminine, you work with Archangel Raphael to heal the fear away. And masculine, you work with Archangel Michael to let go of the things that have been getting in your way, and you help you to release the things that you're holding on to that you don't really want and that are blocking you from your abundance. Masculine subconscious, or at the root of his issues. This is at the root, not of your issues, but of why, well, it could be, in a way it's of your issues, why you're going through certain things, why it can seem at some times that the world is out to get you. That there are forces coming at you that want to see your downfall. It's because you're an indigo. The person you're inquiring about is an indigo, meaning a highly sensitive, natural-born leader, like a chosen one. And that's why you were chosen to do the work, basically, is the message there. You were picked. You entered a soul agreement that you'd come down here and you'd do certain things and you experience certain lessons so that you could ultimately live this human experience, having grown from the lessons and developed coping mechanisms and the ability to navigate life in such a way that you have whatever you want. And you can do that because you're an indigo, but there are other entities and energies out there in the world that don't want to see you be successful at that because you're an indigo. Feminine, joining organize for success. We have sacral chakra. You are highly sensitive to chemicals, additives, processed foods, and energies right now. Respect your sensitivities by avoiding harsh items, situations, and relationships. We got kind of the same message that the masculine did in this placement, right? Remember his card said the person you're inquiring about is an indigo, meaning they're highly sensitive, right? So you're both being described basically as empaths, intuitives, starseeds, indigo, some sort of extraterrestrial being. And that's why, again, you're going through what you're going through. Crowning, joining pay yourself first. we have be willing to forgive. And that does include yourself also. And you do have to forgive yourself first before you have the ability to forgive others. Ask the angels to clear your mind and your body of past pain in exchange for peacefulness. That also goes along with prioritizing yourself too, forgiving yourself and then forgiving other people and releasing the negative energy that we hold on to from the inability to forgive, that only causes us harm, right? Causes us poor health, causes us, high blood pressure and anxiety and agita and all this kind of stuff. So if you're going to prioritize you, then it's important that you forgive others because it helps you. They may not even know or care whether you forgive them or not, but it helps you. Joining focus on your priorities, we have vacuum away fear. So this is at the root of like everything, both archetypes and all that. Call upon archangels Michael and Raphael. And that's funny because mirroring each other, we have here, call on Archangel Michael for help. And then mirroring that, we have calling Archangel Raphael for help for the feminine. And now on this card, it's calling on both of them and asking them to help us to lift fear-based energy from you, and from your surroundings and your situations and everyone involved. And at the heart of the matter, joining the power of prayer, we have shield yourself. Protect yourself from harsh or fear-based energies by envisioning a cocoon of healing light surrounding you. And now some potential outcomes for if we take the advice. Joining God box and clearing away blocks, we'll look at these upright. The Three of Pentacles, which is a worker energy. And basically the idea of the Three of Pentacles is if you are willing to put in the energy, willing to put in the work, you will be directly compensated. And so that's sort of like putting in the worries in the box, the doubts, the concerns, putting them in, putting them in is like paying that, using them as like a form of payment. Here's my debt. And then directly being compensated by the divine assistance, right? As a way of letting go and allowing the divine to help you. Also, it's doing your part of working toward the obstacles and blocks being lifted. And then another way to look at it too is that the Three of Pentacles, again, what it is about being paid. So if this is about, the reading itself is about abundance and how we can become more abundant, particularly financial and materially. And this is saying by letting go of the negative, by putting that in the box, and that's allowing the obstacles and blocks like the fears and worries that we're holding on to be lifted, then again, that's going to clear your energy and that's going to allow you to be paid in your material life. Because it's sort of like the as above, so below comes into play, right? God is above. So you're doing if that's happening above and with your higher self, it's going to show up down here too. With the feminine joining, have you asked the angels for help with this and detox your friendships? We have we have the Queen of Swords, and she's definitely like one of the best at cutting away people, places, and things that no longer serve her. So this is like doubling down that message. And look how happy she is. Like a lot of the cards depict the Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords looking very stern, maybe even unhappy, sort of cold, and someone you don't want to be around. And here she's being so gentle that she's allowed to play with this butterfly with her sword without causing it harm. That's how gentle and feminine she's being here. The butterflies are also indicators of transformation and transition. So by releasing the negative people and negative situations and behaviors and things that are around her, she is transformed from what's normally known as this very cold, unfeeling person that has no emotions and is only all about logic, to somebody, again, gentle and subdued and feminine enough to sit and play with butterflies. Surrounding the masculine, joining release and visualize abundance in all forms, we have the Knight of Swords. He definitely looks like he's not only releasing but cutting away um, something that's not working for him and it's not helpful to him. And then we know that he's also the fastest knight in the deck. So once he cuts that away, he's going to be running to do the work to acquire what he desires, to make it happen. That's what he's known for. And in this situation, in your own personal life, may actually involve an air sign, and maybe specifically an air sign male, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. Surrounding the feminine, joining heal away addictions and face your financial fears, we have death. So it's really about, again, letting go, allowing something to end, even if it's, your livelihood, in terms of a job, if it's ending, if you're being laid off, because that's gonna start happening. I've been warning about this for a while, not just on my channel, but in my real life. Telling people, look, I've been in finance for a long time, right? I worked as a controller for 22 years. I worked at the bank. I was in Ginnie Mae Securities as a high school when I was like 17, 18. I worked for Citibank and securities, investment securities, Ginnie Mae. Younger than that, I managed an ice cream store. I did a cash payroll. I made nighttime cash deposits at the bank, in the Dropbox. I've been involved in finance and accounting for a long time. And so I could see the writing on the wall. And I said, like, I was using an example with people that I knew. I'm like, remember the stimulus checks, right? Because that was to stimulate, it was literally to stimulate the economy. People weren't spending and stuff like that. Well, now we've reached a point where it was quite successful. In fact, so successful that the economy is overstimulated. So I began to notice trends that indicate that the government's going to attempt to force a slowdown. And I started warning people about that. Like, what that means is you're going to see large corporations and maybe even ultimately the government, doing hiring freezes, laying people off, and all that. And this is because people may not realize it now, or at least the common people, and your average Joes may not realize it now. But we're already in a recession. But it'll be announced in like the springtime. Especially if they're going to try to make it through the holidays because they want you to spend your money during the holidays. But then they're going to say, we're in trouble come, February, March, probably after the first quarter. And one of the indications that I watched in order to determine that and figure that out was that the Fed rates kept going up. So this is public knowledge, right? When you watch the news, they talk about the increase in the interest rate, and what does that even mean? Well, it means that they're charging more interest for banks to loan money to each other. So they're making it more difficult for banks to borrow money. If it's more difficult for banks to borrow money, it's going to be more difficult for you to borrow money, for you to get some from them, because they have less money to play with and to put in stocks and bonds and investments and stuff themselves. Like, banks use your money when it's in the bank. They use your float. They use your interest. So they have less of it to do. Anyway, I said all that to say people are going to be laid off, unfortunately, and there will be hiring freezes. So if you don't have a job, There will come a, right now they're still hiring at a number of places. But if you don't have a job, there will come a time where there'll be a freeze. And actually, last week there was an announcement. Um, Several major corporations, Meta or Facebook, Twitter, Amazon, and Apple, all announced hiring freezes and layoffs. And I was like, look, because I had been tweeting about it, like I said, for months and stuff like that, like as a in my private life, um, not as the Queen of Swords, as Mariama, and talking about it to people that I knew. And so it started. Um, yeah, I don't know. I guess I was made to tell you all that because I definitely feel that there will be um, more. It's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. That said, you can still be okay. Like, because that's what the faith part is about. It's like believing that regardless of all this is going on, I'm still going to be okay. You know, my family's still going to thrive. We're still going to make it. You know, we're still going to keep a roof over our heads. We're still going to have food to eat. This is allowing yourself to change and for allowing for the things in your life to change, like going from not having a job to having one, or going from having one to not having one, or going from having a husband or a wife that, you know, helps to provide or supports you to not having one, you having doing it yourself. Like, the thing about the death though is that it gives way to a new beginning, a fresh start. Death is always about an ending or that something ceasing to exist in the way that it always has and starting off in a new way, right? Where there's death, there's rebirth, always, or there's birth. And sometimes we even see it like in human life, in families. You know, somebody passes away, a baby's born. You ever notice that? Um, I may have made you more scared than you were already, and that was not my intention. But because this is about healing away, you know, addictions and fears and things like that. Don't be afraid of change. Is probably all I should have said. Anyway, Major Arcana card Death represents the sign of Scorpio most directly. The root or subconscious for the masculine joining Indigo and do the work. We have the Nine of Cups. So very good. Okay, you do the work, and you put out the intention, and you have the energy of gratitude. The outcome very likely here is getting your wish. Is yeses. Is things going your way? Is you know, being able to maintain your lifestyle, becoming more abundant and growing, or whatever your wish is, whatever you're trying to manifest, it actually coming through. And for the feminine, joining sacral chakra and organized for success, we do indeed have success. We have a Three of Cups. Somebody's cheering, somebody's celebratory, so they're happy that things obviously worked out despite the death. Crowning, joining be willing to forgive and pay yourself first. We have the Queen of Wands, who may be an actual Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, or someone like unto those traits or attributes. And she is very confident, she is very successful, and she is very passionate. But sometimes she can be, what's the word? Especially since she was in reverse, I flipped her around. I guess sort of arrogant, which would be, you know, maybe somebody who would be hesitant to forget, maybe sort of ego driven. But I said we're looking at all these cards. I said in advance that they're all going to be upright. I'm reading them all upright. So my guys knew that, even though they gave it to me reverse. And so this is an indication of that confident person, of believing that you're going to be okay, and not being too I don't know why I can't think of the right word. Being able to be humble, so that you are able to forgive, is going to be key here. At the root, joining vacuum away fear and focus on your priorities, we have the Ace of Pentacles. And we have this beetle. And the beetle And the Ace of Pentacles is crossing the Death card. The beetle is a card, is a symbol, a spiritual symbol of the sun, for one thing, which always brightens things up and makes everything better. And there's also kind of like a sun. It's not really a sun, it's the angel's glow, I think, but it's coming across like a sun in this picture. Renewal, so rebirth, new beginnings, fresh start. The Ace of Pentacles is about that too. So this is very positive. Again, if you let go of fear and prioritize yourself, make yourself number one. Aces are number one. Is how you're going to bring your abundance in and how it's going to grow. At the heart of the matter, joining Shield Yourself and the power of prayer. We have the Empress, who is not only all the queens combined in the tarot, but is like a depiction, illustration of Venus, a vibration of Venus, ruler of the signs of Taurus, Libra, and the esoteric ruler of the sign of Gemini. So those are the signs that most directly connected to this card. And again, as I mentioned in the beginning of the reading, the goddess and also planet of love and money, of abundance. She's here at the heart of the matter. She's currently located in Sagittarius. Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter is the planet of luck, growth, expansion. You pray. Not telling you to pray to Jupiter, although he is seen as the daddy or father, right? The larger of the gods, and Zeus. Not telling you to pray to Jupiter, though. But you pray to whomever you pray, however you pray. You put it out there now. Now is a very potent time for those wishes to be granted, for those things to come to you, while Venus is located in Sagittarius, actually joined there along with Mercury, and Jupiter having gone direct, and again being all about wanting to bring you growth, wanting to bring you expansion, wanting to bring you opportunities, wanting to give you good fortune, wanting to give you luck. Now is the time for you to put your best foot forward, for you to really believe in yourself, for you to really believe in the universe, for you to really believe in God, for you to really believe in the power of prayer, or the power of the law of attraction, the power of manifestation, and get going with it. And don't be afraid of change. And that's the advice I have for you. Be willing to take risks. You're very likely to find that it's not nearly as bad as you thought, not nearly as scary as you thought on the other side of that. I hope you guys find it helpful. I hope you enjoy it. And, I mostly hope that you find it helpful, that it helps you navigate your life in these financial times that these economic times that we're experiencing globally. Namaste.